Jogging. Um, Jogging can basically all be done in any screen. Um, this is the starting screen, which you will find when you start up. I can just jog from here. Um, and this is actually in every screen you can use the joystick and these buttons to do jogging. Um, but there's also a dedicated jogging screen which shows you more information and more options. So we will open this jogging screen here. We open the start menu, we press on jogging. Now a window will open called jogging. This is actually the taskbar here at the bottom. You can actually open more programs at the same time, more windows. And for example this one, and then we can switch back to jogging by pressing the button here. Before doing any jogging, we need to press the 3-button enabler. This button has the 3 position button. This button has 3 positions: at rest, halfway pressed, and fully pressed. Not pressing it tells the robot that I'm not paying attention or not able to press any button anymore for some reason. And pressing it completely all the way through tells the robot that something is wrong as well. That somehow maybe I got trapped between a robot or something, and the only thing I can do is painfully hard press this button. So to tell the robot that everything is fine, we just gently press it till the 2nd position. You can also hear the controller click, and that means sort of some things are turning on and off. Jogging, we have one important mode in jogging is linear. If you look here, it says motion mode linear, and when that means that it just moves in straight lines. So for example, if I push the joystick to the right, the robot goes to the right. When I push the joystick to the left, robot goes to the left. When I push the joystick away from me, the robot moves away from me, and when I pull the joystick towards me, the robot moves towards me as well. And when I turn this, it goes down, and when I turn this the other way, it goes up. These directions, so going with the joystick going to the right, and the robot moves to the right, that is only true, of course, if I'm facing the robot, or well, in a specific position relative to the robot. In this case, or in all cases, if you face the robot, and facing it means looking at the front, and the front is the side opposite to where the cables are coming out of the robot. So the back is where the cables are coming out of the robot. When you look at the front, like in this, like how the camera is located now in this video, then it works like this: that the right is right, left is left, back is towards you, and away from you is away from you. So that's very intuitive. To double check, or sort of to understand this, you can also check this little box. This little box shows you the function of the joystick at this specific moment. I will later on show you other uses of the joystick with other when it reacts otherwise. But now it says X, the arrow here in this little round thing shows the positive direction. So when I push it down, the X value increases, and you can see that actually here in this little screen. Here you can see the values, so X, Y, Z, and then the quaternions, which represent the rotation. It also shows here position in coordinate system work object. I'm actually gonna change that to position shown in world, Some cases this doesn't make any differences, like now for example, but it is actually important to note. Because sometimes you just want to, sometimes it makes a difference, and sometimes you want a specific coordinate system to show it in. So now it's in the world coordinate system, and so the y, if I go to the right of the joystick, I will go in positive y direction, and you'll see that indeed it increases, and to the left will then be negative, of course, and you can see it decreases. So the same goes for the z direction. The arrow indicates positive travel. So if I rotate it with the arrow, it will go, z goes, z increases. No, I'm close to singularity. This is an arrow you might run in often. It means you're close to singularity. There's a different video explaining singularities. Usually you just, certainly while jogging you can just acknowledge. However, you might not be able to continue in the same direction. So you might need to go down now, for example. The direction, you can see here the direction. The arrow shows positive z travel, positive z change. For the z direction, also one thing to remember can be that sort of, if you imagine a screw that is actually in the working table of the robot. So to get that screw in more deep in the working table of the robot, you would also turn it this direction, and to get the screw out, to get it higher out of the working table, you would also turn the other direction. So that's memory. That's the way how I remember it as well. One important thing about this joystick is that it's a proportional joystick. Proportional means that when I move the joystick just a little, the robot also moves really slow. Actually, you cannot really see it move probably now. Only if you watch the values closely, you can actually see that it is moving. But on the video, you probably don't really see it move. Actually, I'm looking at it now, and it's even hard for me to see that it's moving. And if I move it a bit further, the joystick, the robot starts to move a bit quicker, and I can move it even further, the joystick, and a bit further, and a bit further, and a bit further, and it's moving and moving quicker. So this means this is what we mean with proportional. This joystick is proportional. This is important because it can give you great control over the robot, great precision as well, it's also good, for example, if you're not sure what direction you are moving. So you can look at this, but maybe you're still uncertain. You can actually use this proportional thing to double check that you're actually going the right direction before increasing the speed, so you don't bump into something. So this is the linear mode. Linear mode. If I press on the motion mode here, I can also change to reorient. And reorient is basically, it means the robot will reorientate. It will rotate around the point where it is currently. I can also, now I did it by going to motion mode and changing it, but I can also press actually this button. This button changes also from linear, where I just switched to now, reorient. You can also see it here. Now I'm on reorient, and so I can now rotate I'm again close to singularity. Let me just try to move a bit away from this point. Okay, maybe it's better here. So yeah, I'm going to reorient, and let me switch screens. Yes, like this. So I can reorient, I can rotate over different axes, and if your tool definition is correct, actually the tool center point, if your definition of the tool center point is correct, your tool center point should be completely fixed at the same location, and the rest of it should move around it, should rotate around it. And then there's also axis by axis jogging. I can select that from, let me switch screen again. I can select that from this screen, so I can go to axis mode, axis 1 to 3 or 4 to 6. But I can also actually use this button. This button switches to axis mode, and it also switches between the two axis modes, because as you can see here, also motion mode 1 to 3. Now I have motion mode 1 to 3, but I can also press again, and then I have axis 4 to 6, so 4, 5, 6. So this is quite straightforward, of course. Again, the arrow indicates positive direction, and positive means in this case that the value of the angle increases. So for the first axis I go right, and then the angle increases, and go left, angle decreases, and then the second axis and the third axis. Let me switch screen again so you can see the robot a bit better. So first axis, second axis, and third axis, and then I can press this button to switch to 5, 4 and 6. 5 is, okay, let's go 4 first. 4, yes, so this is 4, and this is 5, and 6 is the one at the end, and turns like this. Maybe it was a bit hard to see from that angle. Let me just quickly repeat it from here. 4, 5, and 6. So that's axis by axis, and so you can see the values here. Yeah, depending on where you actually want to go and where you want to end up, either linear or axis mode is more convenient. In case of singularity errors, axis mode is always more convenient, because axis mode has no singularity errors, never. So yeah, let us quickly go through some other options in this screen. So on the top you see mechanical unit. Now currently we only have one robot, and I can also show you there's only one robot, so we can just move one robot, so there's nothing to switch between. Different story for the track, but that will be covered in another video. Then absolute accuracy, well, that's nothing that you can ignore that. Motion mode, I already explained it. Then coordinate system, it's now grayed out. It's only available when you are in linear motion mode. Coordinate system is actually the coordinate system in which the X, Y, Z things work. So in the coordinate system in which you are jogging, basically. So I can change it from world to base to tool or work object. That's also covered in another video or in the document. Then the tool. Currently I have suction cup small. There's also tool 0 available. Suction cup small is now available because it is in one of my rapid programs which I recently ran. Yeah, so this is important for reorientating because it will reorientate around TCP of this tool. Then work object. Work object, now it's only, actually now the work object 0, so the standard work object is selected. You can also select any other work object, maybe a work object that you programmed yourself or teached in yourself. Now this is important if you want to see, well, if you you can here show the position in work object as well. In that case, so these values will be in the coordinate system work object. So that can be relevant. I will now switch back to world. Also, of course, if you choose here coordinate system work object, then it also, of course, it's relevant what work object you have selected. Payload is, yeah, well, you can ignore that for now, but it says something about how heavy the payload is. And then joystick lock means, yeah, you can lock the direction of the joystick, which is also not very interesting for our application. But there's one important thing actually that could be important, is increment. Increment now is at none. And basically what increment means is if you enable an increment, I will now enable large, for example, the robot will only move in steps. So let me switch screens. So when I now push the joystick to the right, the robot will move, but it will move only in little steps, and it's not going as quick because it needs to do the step and then slow down again, and then after some delay it will do the next step. And I can also completely press this and it will just do one step every time. And now I'm on large, but I can also put it on medium, and now if I move, if I completely press it, it will do all these steps also, but you can see it's going even slower because, of course, the steps are smaller and there's still the delay in between. And I can also put increment to small, which makes the steps almost invisible. And this is important to use when you are really close to an object. And you really need to have a precise, you need to have precise jogging close to an object, and you don't want to crash into the object by accident, just slipping your hand or something. Then you want to use the increment thing. Also, pay attention if the robot is not moving, or does not appear to be moving. It could be that you still have your increment on small and that you're just not seeing the movement, but it's moving really small. So then you can put it to none, which is the normal mode, which I've done all the previous jogging with in this video. This increment is also available in the quick menu. The quick menu is basically this menu here on the top. On the bottom right, it opens this bar, and here this icon is increment, and then it opens this little pane, and you can actually select the mode from here. So now it's on medium, for example, and I can close this menu again by pressing here. What this of course doesn't make sense really if you're in the jogging menu, because you can also just use this thing, which is a bit larger and clearer maybe. But if you're in a production window, for example, this one, then it starts to make sense, because then you might want to quickly switch to increment to do some precise jogging. And actually this button here also changes the increment. So toggles to the true, in this case none or medium, and if I put it on large, it toggles between none and large. So with this button you can easily switch between increment or non-increment. Before doing any jogging, make sure that your settings are the ways that you expect it, so that your increment is how you expect it, that the coordinate system is on world, for example, and that the motion mode is also linear or reorientate whatever you expect it to be or whatever you want it to be. Double check that before jogging, otherwise you might end up with movements that you're not expecting. I think these are the basics for jogging for today. Yeah, thank you.